Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Unitarian Congregation of Men in Uxbridge. My name is Matthew Marion, and I would like to welcome back Patricia Hash, Reverend Patricia Hash, to our sermon today. I'm going to start off today with Beethoven's Pathetic Sonata, second movement. Thank you.
Welcome to you. Welcome to you, the few of you present here this morning, and the rest of the congregation huddled in front of screens. And welcome to all the visitors who are here with us virtually, curious or seeking inspiration or a good word. And those who will view the service later as well. May this service provide something your heart needs today and some inspiration to pass on. May your burdens be lightened and your joys even brighter. May you have your feet firmly on the ground to do your work with balance and grace. And may your joy and imagination soar like the steeple of this building. Welcome to you on this mid-August day when the tomatoes and zucchini and blueberries are ready to be harvested. Welcome to you, whether your heart is singing or grieving or a little of both. Welcome. I'd now like to invite Peter to come forward and light the chalice. The flaming chalice is a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. May this flame continue to invite us into community, inspire our spirits, and ignite in us a passion for peace and justice. I'd like you to invite you to join in the congregation's Unitarian affirmation of this church, if you know it, wherever you are. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Typically, at this time in the service, there are candles of joys and concerns where people share the things that are on their hearts. In this virtual time, we invite those of you who are viewing to submit your joys or concerns via the chat on YouTube or via the contact form on the website, the church website. And I will light a candle for those joys and concerns and read them at the end of the service. Today's story is called Signs of Daybreak, author unknown. A wise teacher once asked his students, "How can you tell the difference between night and when it truly becomes day in the morning?" And the students pondered. The first student said, "I think you realize it's truly day when you see an animal in the distance and you can tell whether it is a dog or a sheep." And the teacher said, "No." Another student said, "Well, I think it's when you look at a tree in the distance and you can tell whether it is a peach tree or a fig tree." The teacher again said no. Well, then the students demanded, "What is it? How can you tell when it is truly day?" And the wise teacher said, "It is when you see the face of a human being and you know that you are looking at your sister or brother or sibling. Until you can do that, no matter what time it is, it will always be night." I'd now like to invite you into a time of meditation where we can quiet our hearts from the busyness of our daily lives, where we can breathe and be present together, whether here or online. There'll be 3 parts to this. I will say a short meditation in words. I will play my singing bowl, and I invite you to breathe and collect your breath and listen to the sounds of the singing bowl. And then Matt will play a hymn, "Be Thou My Vision," an instrumental hymn for us at the conclusion of this section of the service. Since my topic today is about compassion and loving kindness, I decided for my words for this meditation to share with you the words of a Buddhist metta meditation. It's adapted. There are many versions of the words that are said. But I would like to say these words to you, and you can think about them and take them into your heart, and also share the loving kindness out into the world in your thoughts and heart and in your life and actions later. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you live in peace and ease. May you be safe and happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you live in peace and ease. May you be safe and happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you live in peace and ease. May you be safe and happy. Amen, and blessed be. An elderly man is sitting in a hospital emergency room, and tears are rolling down his cheeks. He puts his head in his hands as he sobs, and after a while, his sobs turn to low moans. The other people in the emergency room start shifting around on the hard, uncomfortable chairs. In their embarrassment over the man's suffering, the people don't know what to do. The stranger's pain is too close. A small child squirms loose from her mother's arms, and this little child runs around the emergency room. The tired woman does very little to restrain her. The little girl plays with the magazines and even rips out a few pages. She goes over to the water fountain and splashes in the water and gets some on herself and some on the floor. She's making a big mess. The 20 or so people in the room discover that it's much easier to focus on the curious child than to deal with the suffering older man in the corner who is still sobbing, very quietly, but still sobbing. Finally, the mother pulls out a cup of goldfish crackers. The little girl grabs the cup, she stuffs some in her mouth, and she continues to run around the room, dropping goldfish crackers as she runs. All of a sudden, the girl notices the man in the corner. She marches over to this man who is still quietly sobbing. The little girl stops a few feet away from him. All eyes in the room are focused on this encounter between the child and the older man. What will the girl do? Her face becomes very serious and intent. She moves forward carefully and looks closely as the tears keep rolling down the face of the grieving man. The waiting room is very quiet as everyone is watching. She goes right up to the man, and her little hand reaches out to his face, and she roughly wipes the tears from his cheeks. All right, all right, all right, she says gently. There, 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 there. The man opens his eyes. He raises his head. He sits up a little straighter. The shape of his mouth changes. He looks at her as the littlest one in the room continues to roughly wipe his cheeks and comfort him. He gently catches her little hand in his big wrinkled hand and brings her little fingers up to his mouth and kisses her tiny hand. Loving kindness. Loving kindness is what the world needs. It needs more loving kindness. The kind of loving, compassionate attention demonstrated in this story that I adapted that was by Benson and Stewart in The Mystery of the Child. The call of our hearts is to connect through kindness, compassion, and love. It is especially important to keep building connections through kindness and care during this time of the pandemic. At this time, we can't always relate to people the way we used to. We can bring sun to the long, dark nights of the pandemic by acknowledging and caring for our sisters and brothers and siblings. When we can't see people because of quarantines and facial coverings, let that be an extra push in us to connect in other ways. Having compassion means to feel empathy, feeling together with someone, especially someone who might be suffering. And I've only heard the word loving kindness in two contexts. In the Hebrew scriptures, it is said that God is abounding in loving kindness, the Hebrew word hesed. And the Buddhist meditation that I adapted and shared with you today is also called a metta meditation or loving kindness meditation. That kind of meditation consists of sending goodwill to others. Loving kindness is tender kindness that arises from love. The ninth minister of this church in Mendon, Reverend Aidan Blue, wrote, "All things spring from love. This is the grand cause of all positive creations. Like the heat of the natural sun as the direct cause of life and growth in the vegetable world, is love the cause of all causes." In other words, as the warmth and light of the sun causes growth in the natural world, love causes the growth of all good things that are in our world. Love is the origin of our connections with other people, with our pets, with our pursuit of knowledge and understanding and beauty. Our curiosity and pursuit of good things is simply another form of love. The call of our hearts is the impulse to connect and to love. The first word that babies often utter are mama or dada. Babies come to understand on some level there is a profound connection between them and their parents or caregivers. Babies learn to love because they are loved. And a baby's curiosity is what propels them forward in understanding the world. However, a baby's secure attachments to people are what give them the grounding to learn and to love. And then, at the end of the lives of many people, what they most want to express is the love they have for the people who are closest to them. One by one, they realize their cherished possessions, their social status, their career goals. Those things are not the most important things. The most important thing, the only thing that often matters when all is said and done, is to recognize, express, and celebrate the love we have in our lives, the love that those people at the end of their lives want to share still with their loved ones in their last moments. They want to say, "I love you. I've always loved you. I'm sorry. I thank you. I'm so glad you were in my life. I love you." Let's do more to express and affirm these connections in our lives right now. Let us consider 3 ways we can more fully embrace the life-affirming practices of compassion and loving kindness. The first way is to give people, including ourselves, a break, a compassionate break. Let's offer compassion to others and ourselves. One day, I was feeling very sad about something, but I had to go to the post office. A woman at the post office was very rude to me. At first, I was a little angry, and I thought, if she knew what I was going through that made me so sad that day, she might have wanted to be a little kinder to me. And then, as I thought more about it, I realized I didn't know what she might be going through, that she would be in such a place to be so rude to me. Perhaps someone she loves is very sick or dying. Perhaps she just received a serious diagnosis herself. Maybe she just lost her job. Perhaps she has a kid in trouble. Maybe her partner just asked her for a divorce. And it could be that she has multiple things going on at once and she is overwhelmed. Maybe in my mind, I can give her the compassion that I wish she had been able to give to me. We all want to be understood and to be shared compassion with and kindness and to share love. We all need and want that. Here's a poem by the Persian poet Hafiz, translated by Daniel Ladinsky. Admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, love me. Of course, you do not do this out loud. Otherwise, someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this. This great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye, and that is always saying with that sweet moon language what every other eye in this world is dying to hear? Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye that is always saying with that sweet moon language what every other eye in this world is dying to hear? We all have sorrows and concerns we carry with us. And we all need and benefit from the compassion and kindness shown to us, the way plants thrive better when they have enough sunlight and water. And let's not forget about ourselves. We need compassion too. Are you as kind to yourself as you would be to a struggling family member or dear friend? Do you think affirming kind thoughts to yourself and say kind words about yourself? Or do you mentally criticize and give yourself a hard time? Let us offer compassion to ourselves as well. Here is a practice of self-compassion that I developed that has to do with regret. When you think of something that you did or said that you wish you hadn't, or you think of something you neglected to do and you feel bad about it, you can say, I forgive my younger self. Or, I have compassion on my younger self. This works better than simply saying you forgive yourself or have compassion on yourself. By noting that it was your younger self that was responsible for this thing you regret, you are acknowledging that you know more now, even if what you know is simply that you now know how you feel about what you did or didn't do. That feeling is knowledge. That feeling can enable you to change your actions in the future. And this practice of showing compassion to your younger self, it works, even if your younger self acted only a month ago, or a day, or even an hour ago. Let us grow our compassion toward others and to ourselves. A second practice is to challenge ourselves to do something extra kind every day. Every day, we can look for something kind that we can do that is above and beyond what we would normally do. It does not have to be time-consuming. Instead of merely thanking the customer service person who helped you, thank them by name, or tell their supervisor what a great job they did. If you've been thinking about buying a coffee for a person behind you in line, today would be a good day to do that. Or reconnect with an old friend. Or send someone a card in the mail to let them know you're thinking of them. It is more important than ever during this time of the pandemic to reach out to people and connect with them. You may not be able to connect in the ways you did before, but taking the effort to connect in new ways, whether that means socially distanced visits, phone calls, Zoom gatherings, notes in the mail, or car parades by their houses to celebrate special occasions, or other creative ways to connect. This is a time to use your creativity. Or instead of simply waving at your neighbor across the street, take the time and go over at an appropriate distance and ask them how they're doing, and really listen. Which brings me to my third point of practices that we can grow in our lives. Another practice of loving kindness is to pay attention. It is one of the simplest things, and sometimes it's one of the harder things. At the story, at the beginning of the sermon, the little girl gave compassionate attention to the suffering man. She really looked at him, and she wiped his tears to help reduce and share in his suffering. Do you know that attention is strongly related to love? If you want your loved ones to feel your love, focus on them. Look into their eyes. Listen carefully to their words and give them your full attention. What do you focus on? You choose where to direct your attention. It is one of the freedoms of your life. Wherever you place your attention, your awareness grows in that direction. It's like watering a plant. You water a plant with intention and attention. You are providing nourishing care for someone when you give them your full attention. That's love. The call of our hearts is the call to love and compassion. We are messengers of love to our families, our friends, our congregation, our neighbors, our coworkers, the people as we see as we go through our days, the strangers we meet. We are even messengers of love to those difficult people in our lives. When we join together, we can make even more of a loving difference. When we work for justice, we are really working for a more kind and compassionate and loving society. When we gather in communities such as this one, we can embody the synergy of multiple people coming together to make the world a better place, rooted in actions of love and kindness. The world needs this all the time, and especially during this time of the pandemic. Let's get through this by working together and caring about one another in a spirit of love. Let's more fully embrace the practices of showing compassion to others and to ourselves, looking for ways to be extra kind, and focusing our attention, our full attention, on the people who we are with. As we live into this connective spirit of love, that sweet moon vision, as Hafiz says, we will make ripples of difference in our world. Amen and blessed be. We will now light the candles of joy and concern. There are just a few this morning. The first one is a candle of hope and concern for all those who are headed back to school, students, teachers, and administrators. May you continue to be safe and healthy. From the Bouchards. I will light the next candle for all those who are grieving. I understand there are a few people in the congregation who have recently lost family members, more distant family members, but all those who are grieving in the congregation and all who are viewing, thinking of you. Next is a candle of thanks for hope for the coming rain. We can use rain. And I would like to light a candle of joy that I could be with you this morning. And thanks for these historic congregations of Minden and Uxbridge that had a vision of being in community and making a difference in the world. And they still live on in the congregation today. And it's a beautiful thing. So thanks for being here and thanks for being you, this congregation. And I will light the final candle for all those things that remain unspoken in our hearts and minds this morning, whether they are sorrows or concerns or joys, those things we know of, those things we keep close to our hearts, for those things. That candle isn't working. I'll try another one. There we go. Let's continue to hold these things in our hearts and minds as we go through our days. I will now extinguish the chalice. We have gathered in love, worshiped in hope, and lifted our hearts in peace. We go now to share these blessings with the world. After I give the benediction, Matt will play the Bee Gees song, How Deep Is Your Love, for the postlude. Thanks, Matt. Go in kindness to all. Go in compassion, even for yourself. Go in love and peace. Until we meet together again, go in peace.
Thank you.